Welcome to the Shut Up and Work podcast. I am your host with the coach, and today I have the lovely SJ and also Cristina Alva that's on the microphone with us today. And now we're going to discuss that big, unfaithful word, cheating in the workplace. So, SJ, go ahead and enlighten us on this topic.
Okay, let's talk about it. So, we've had a couple of interesting situations this year that you've probably seen somewhere online on social media. First, we're going to talk about M.A. Udoka, who was in a relationship with Nia Long and who was also a Celtics head coach, the basketball franchise for the Celtics. So, it was found out that he was having an affair and he was suspended, and then subsequently he was released from the Celtics organization. A few months later, he was picked up by the Rockets organization. So, although it did impact his career, he was able to bounce back relatively quickly. Now, we're also going to talk about TJ Holmes, who is a journalist, a broadcaster, and it was found out that he was having an affair with his coworker as well. Now, he was married, his coworker was also married, and both of them were released from ABC, and they still are not currently working and on the air at this time. So my question is, now I have my own opinion. I'll share that with you a little bit later, but first I want to hear from Coach and Cristina Alva. Do you think having an affair should impact your career? Just having an affair in general. We'll get to the whole within the workplace thing later.
Okay,
Who
so
wants to go first?
oh, Christina, you go ahead.
Oh man, so in general, should having an affair impact your work life?
Yeah, should it impact your career? Should
In
your company
general.
or your job be able to fire you because you had an affair and that's considered immoral or what have you?
So my answer is going to be it. I think it should depend on where you work and what your company's mission is and that outlook, right? Disney can't be slaving out children. See what I'm saying? So I think it depends on the company you work for. But if I take company out of it and just say, should your career be affected by you having an affair? I was going to say no, because you're going to need that money to pay the other spouse in that divorce.
I like that. I like that.
All right.
Coach, what about you?
So first thing, let me clear the air. I don't like the Boston Celtics. I'm a Lakers fan. So to see that happen to their organization, I'd be honest with you, I just laughed. And the other thing, a personal opinion, I never watched Good Morning America. So, whatever happened with the cast on there, I really don't give a hoot. But anyway, to your point, to the question, should cheating be allowed or is it immoral for you to do on the job? Now, I would say yes. Yes. If you and a coworker, and the reason why I say this before I give my definite answer, I just want to say that I come from an industry working for the government, the federal government, where you have a lot of that stuff going on. You have husband and wife working in the same area or department. You have brother, sister, cousin working in the same area or department. Father and son, mother and daughter, father and daughter, all working together. So if nepotism and all that stuff is illegal in the workplace, then people who get caught sleeping around like that, I think it's a detriment in the workplace because now everybody is starting to focus on that situation and what's going on. And I think it shouldn't be allowed. Now, who's to say anybody is out there policing a situation where you're hooking up with your coworker after work or wherever, at their house or wherever y'all are meeting, at a stash apartment, whatever in that nature. No, nobody should police that part of it. But if it's happening in the vicinity of work, then I think it's a problem. Which in one of those situations, if I'm being clear on this, I think that happened at their facility with the Boston Celtics, the Emi Udoka situation. They were doing something there, and that's how they ended up getting caught, or somebody just finally releasing what was going on in that situation.
Okay.
Yeah.
So my opinion is similar to Christina Alva's,
Mhm.
which is, in my opinion, if you're working for an organization or you are in a position that is somehow associated and entangled with ethics,
Mhm.
morals, or anything of that sort, and you commit adultery, which
Mhm.
is unethical and immoral, then yes, I can see how that could and should probably impact your career.
Yeah.
However, if that is not the case and you're in, just any industry, restaurant industry, service industry, basketball, entertainment, and you have an affair, then I mean, I don't really personally see. Now, let me just say, y'all didn't ask me this, but I disagree strongly with this. I do not believe in cheating. I do not condone cheating. I certainly do not encourage cheating. It's just a bad idea in general, but grown folks do what grown folks do. So I don't think that it should necessarily impact your career because you are there to produce whatever it is that you're producing, whether it's numbers, the bottom line, what have you. And as long as you're producing that, people don't have to like you, they don't have to respect you. But if you're doing that job, then that's what you're there to contribute, regardless of what's going on in your personal life. Now, I will say this as well. If what you're doing in your personal life is bringing problems to the job, such as drama, people outside fighting, screaming, calling, etc., then of course that's going to impact your job. I mean, that's only logical. So that's where I stand on that.
So, got a question here. Let me get my devil's pitchfork. Okay, let's just say entertainment. Let's get on that. So, Stephanie, you're the head coach of whoever's your favorite team.
The Spurs.
Oh Lord. Okay, I'm definitely about to play devil's advocate now. Okay, so now that you didn't open that door to hell, no, I'm just joking. Um, let's say you're the head coach and I'm the assistant coach. Okay, and you are a good coach in that retrospect, but let's say Christina comes, let's say she's the operations manager or the vice president of the team, and Christina is asking for something. She's asking for you, and let's say I'm stepping up in your presence and getting the situation handled because SJ is out there with Octavius, cheating around, and Octavius is married and all this stuff or whatever. And Octavius is let's say he runs I don't know, he runs the fan support operations of the team or something like that. And I know both of you are doing something that y'all don't have no business doing. And at the same time, SJ, you as the coach, you come to me and then want to jump on me about something like, hey, have you watched film with the team? Or have you done this? Or have you done that? When you're supposed to be in control of something, do you think that is right or wrong? Nobody knows that you and Octavius, that y'all going into one of the restrooms in the facility and tearing it up every day. But do you think that would be fair to your coaching staff in that situation, or to the organization in that situation?
Okay, I just want to make sure that I understand. So
Mhm.
you're basically saying that I'm showing favoritism and preferential treatment, right? Because of my own personal
No,
situation.
no, let's say that you are leaning, like, basically, even though the rest of the staff, we're covering for you for whatever you got, for whatever you're doing. And let's say when you get back from whatever you're doing, you're leaning on us harder. You're fussing at us, or you're acting a fool with us about, little minor things, but yet you're not making the team meetings or anything in that situation because you up in some stall somewhere getting blown out.
Okay. Well, honestly, coach, in this situation, the issue to me is not
Uh-huh.
why I'm not performing up to par. The issue is that I'm not performing up to par because it could be any number of reasons. Perhaps my heart just isn't in it anymore and it's time for me to move on and get another job.
But I'm
I
talking
don't really.
with the staff thing. You're sleeping with one of the staff. I'm just kind of giving the same example, but I'm just giving it in a different retrospect, just saying, kind of putting us in there in the
Okay.
shoes of everybody.
So if two coworkers are
Mhm.
having some type of relationship
Mhm.
and especially if one is a subordinate of the other,
Mhm.
that most companies have a policy in place that says that that cannot happen and they will not allow that to happen. So again, ethically, you should disclose your relationship so that at least it's documented and you both can be protected,
Mhm.
because more often than not, somebody, and probably the person who is not the subordinate, is going to suffer the consequences of this. Now, I'm sorry, I'm getting a little bit confused because you're talking about some bad behavior, but I don't really know where that falls in. But yeah, for sure, it's way too easy these days for there to be a situation with a power play involved where somebody says that the situation was not consensual because they felt that they were um that they had to submit to somebody who was in a position of power over them. So personally, I just think keep it outside of the workspace. I know that this is
Yeah.
where we spend most of our time, but just like we talked about in the previous episode, this is where you earn your money. If you want friendship, if you want a romantic relationship, if you want social relationships, put that effort in outside of work. To
Mhm.
me, that is just the best possible opportunity to be successful and have healthy relationships.
Now, what if you are at the top of the organization? And this can be any organization. What if you are like the owner, the vice president, the CFO, something like that? What if you are at the top, that new intern comes in, and y'all like, girl, I'm finna go get me a piece of that brownie. And, you know, you basically pull him in the office and say, look, Octavius, I know you knew, and this and that. If you want to grow in this company, you got to make sacrifices.
Octavius.
Yeah. And Octavia's sitting over there sweating like, uh, uh, I got to go for mine, right? Because he's probably just finished college. He's got student loans, and his parents, his mama, grandma, then told him, "Now, Octavius, you go to that job now, and you be good, and you do what they tell you to do." What about people who may have been in that situation or been in that situation? Because sadly enough, I'm trying to make light of it, but that does happen.
It sounds to me like you're talking about a classic sexual harassment scenario.
Yeah,
I
but I mean,
agree.
oh, go ahead. Go ahead. Go ahead.
I agree, because what I hear in all of this, if we kind of go off topic from whether you're having an affair, is
Uh-huh.
what our thoughts on that are, if you should lose your job. But now we're talking about fraternization amongst employees in the workplace.
But isn't that okay? And y'all correct me. Y'all correct me because I'm a man. Isn't that how I would just say 50% of the affairs start. Is because, and the reason why I'm saying this is because, to be on the serious of it, going back to the Celtics coach from last year, once this stuff hit the fan, the woman was trying to come back and say, "Oh my God, I don't know. She started making it like it was
Like it was not consensual.
correct, correct. And thank you for using that safe word. It was more non-consensual, but when people started digging into the story in the information and they found out, hey, wait a minute, you're the wife of the vice president, which means your husband was in a higher position than what the coach was. So either you agreed to this thing or you didn't. So my point I'm just going with is just trying to say that it can turn into, from a verbal perspective, once somebody is caught, it can turn into that situation of, well, this wasn't consensual. Well, my job was on the line, or anything in that nature. So therefore, some people who want to stay with the company, who want to grow in that company, they may continue this affair or whatever. They may do it for a year. It may go on for a couple of years.
This is where I agree with SJ in a sense that if you want to have a relationship with someone romantically in the workplace, do that outside of work, leave the job. Again, it's all about understanding your risk. What do you stand to risk if you make the decision to get involved with this coworker? And as an owner, right, you're thinking legality because of the things you just brought up, right?
Yes.
That's a whole, that's a whole lot of risk. And that's why they're very firm in most workplaces that you cannot fraternize. And even if y'all have true love or whatever, we need to make an example out of you, because we don't need everybody else doing this, because everybody else ain't going to be Romeo and Juliet, So it's
Romeo and Juliet had a bad ending. Let's just remember.
But it was real. No, I'm slaying. That's true. But, just saying like, it's not going to work out. It's not going to be great. It's not going to be peaches and cream and stuff. So again, like, as Jay said too, you come to work in a mood, and this person that's working with you is in the mood too, regardless of what position they hold in the workplace. That affects everybody else. Now, others are complaining about the work environment and the culture, which again, lawsuit, right? So there's risk associated with all of this, which is why you should keep it out of the workplace altogether. Just understanding the risk, again, knowing your company policy. Some jobs are a little more flexible with it. Like, you can work at the same place your spouse works at, as long as you're in different departments or something like that. You can leave the company and then openly date someone,
Right.
Those are understanding the risk and why companies take that stand. Again, it's your job, your career goals. What are they? Because if your career goals, are at risk because you are fraternizing with somebody that works in the same company as you, are those really your career goals, right? You can ask yourself, especially with most states being an at-will state, that means employers can fire you for whatever reason or no reason, just as long as it's not like retaliation or other such statutes.
Discrimination.
Yes, exactly. And if you're giving them a reason to get rid of you, again, don't give your employer a reason. So make sure you understand your career goals and understand the risk of your actions. That's what I would say.
Yeah, great point. And I agree with that. I'm just saying how these things could lead to other things. And you kind of touched on it, Christina. It could lead to a legal lawsuit, because both parties, once they're caught in this affair, they might like each other. Like you said, they may, hey, as you said, they both giving each other the eye and like, hey, meet me in this closet in 5 minutes, whatever. But once they are caught, then both parties start to change their story, especially if they got things on the line, if they got a family, the job, and all these other things. and then it leads into other things. Now, I didn't read the what went down with is it TJ Holmes? Am I
Yes.
correct? Okay, TJ Holmes and the lady he was with, but I do understand that they were both married. And I know, even though I don't watch Good Morning America, I know that job was paying them well because Good Morning America has been around, hell, even probably before I was born, and I know both of them just wasn't in agreement to say, oh yeah, if we get caught, hell, we're just going to go somewhere else, or we're going to, get married and run off with each other or whatever. I'm sure that both of those individuals were enjoying the money that they were making, loving their career, working on Good Morning America. And then now that they've been exposed to what they were doing, not only to their co-workers and to people of the world, I guess you could say, but to their families, now I'm sure the story is going to come out differently, just like it did with as the example we were using with Emmy Adoka and I forgot the lady's name that he was having an affair with. Now the story all of a sudden tries to change. Oh no, he forced me or this or that. So that's all that I'm saying in that situation. I guess if I didn't confuse anybody.
No, it's perfectly clear. So I
Mhm.
think basically what all of us are saying is it's generally a bad idea. Like
Yes.
Christina said, weigh the risks. Is getting involved with this person really worth losing your income and your livelihood? Do you
Right.
really want to risk it? And if the
Ye-
answer is yes, then plan ahead, make moves to leave that job so that you can pursue a relationship.
Right.
Or
Or at
or
least one
depending
of
on
them.
the Yes, or depending on the company, report to the job that you do have a relationship so
Mhm.
that you can both be protected.
Right.
And I would also like to note,
Hmm.
um, as the coach said, you may think that's your only opportunity to get ahead, so you go along with advances made in your direction.
Yes.
But I will say you do have a voice, you do have a choice, right? So um, ring the alarm. I don't care who at work is making uncomfortable advances. You can do something about it. You never have to sit there and take it.
Yes. Great point. Great point. And if you have a coworker that you trust or a supervisor that you trust, you may want to kind of just put it in their ear, pull them to the side, put what's going on in their ear. If it's a situation like that, that is, you see somebody you may have the hots for, or they may have the hots for you. And I mean, it's okay. I don't see nothing wrong with, if somebody is flirting or anything in that sense. But when it's gonna be when you have those intimate vibes, I'm trying to keep it clean here. When you have those intimate vibes or anything like that, you need to realize, as what Christina was just mentioning, you need to realize what you are there for at your job, and then do you want to throw what all you have gained? Do you want to just throw that in the trash?
Yes. And if you have questions that where you feel you may be treated unfair, you can always reach out to the U.S. Equal Employment Opportunity Commission, the EEOC office, eeoc.gov. And you may laugh, but sometimes you wonder, is somebody making an advance towards me? Do I have to comply? You may not know. Without saying too much, I'll just say you may not know. So if you wanted to ask or seek legal advice
Mhm.
and understand the law, the EEOC office is a perfect place, eeoc.gov. You can call them, you can email them. They're very responsive.
Mhm.
So you can get your questions answered. I mean, everything is in black and white in a book written down, right? So
Yes.
that's a good resource.
Yes. And for everybody out there, I'm sorry, I didn't mean to laugh. I'm just thinking about my dealings with the federal government with EEOC and how that went. All I got was some damn pancakes cooked for me. So But that's for another story, Christina. I know
Okay.
if you listen to our previous episodes, I kind of told the story about that, about my trip to EEO's AC and what happened.
Okay.
Yeah,
Got you. And I say that because sometimes your boss could be the person, right? So,
that's true. That's true.
yeah, and saying that could be the person. So it's a whole third party.
All right.
And
Well,
I'll just mention this, Coach. No, somebody mentioned, I can't remember which one of you it was, but somebody mentioned maybe talk to a supervisor or a trusted person. Just keep in mind that even if you casually or confidentially report something to a manager, they are required to report it. I had to find that out the hard way.
okay.
So I'm not saying that to discourage you.
Mhm.
You know, you can still tell the manager, I don't want to formally do anything or make a complaint. I just want to go on record with somebody to say that this is happening. They should, and they are probably required to report that.
Mhm.
So just know that so that you won't be surprised.
Great point. Great point. And I forgot the saying. I was going to give everybody the last saying. Saying we used to have as a slang term, but me personally, yeah, just don't. If you're going to a job or wherever you work, side hustle, and you're going there to make money or something that's passionate that you love about it, keep it in your pants, fellas. Don't mess it up. You know, trying to mess with another co-worker because you know it could turn bad just by sleeping with that person. It could turn worse. You know, you could make a situation from bad to worse is what I want to say. So that's
You don't
all
even have to sleep with them. You could just ask them out. You could just, you
true.
know, you could just make it known or even suggest that you're interested in them. So is that worth your job?
Right. And know that, you know, once you get in, you start having that affair, whether you're married or they're married or whatever, it's going to be hell to get out of. So, and it's going to cost you some way, somehow. So that's all I have. Anything else, ladies?
Yes, Christina, will you tell us where we could reach you, where we could find you?
Yes. So you can always check out my website, CristinaAlva.com. You can find me on Instagram or Facebook at Christina in Alva.
Awesome. And we're going to also put her information in the description. And if you if you happen to not catch her in this next week or so, no problem. I assure you she will be back in the future. So with that being said, I would like to thank everyone for tuning in and listening to us. And please hit that like, share, subscribe button. And we will see you on the next time. Take care.